Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel for another iRacing video, and today it's talking about a much anticipated and for me a very exciting new release, which is the new BMW LMdH. So this is just my first drive of the car, my very first impressions having just hopped into it. Just putting it out there, I'm not some 8 million K iRating alien. I'm not going to be able to tell you what the optimal percentage of tyre dipping in and brake dragging is to get the most out of this car. This is just me jumping into the car for the first time just to see how it feels. I spent a fair amount of time in the LMP2, so I'll be making some comparisons with that towards the end of the video. I'll be jumping back into the LMP2 as well and seeing how that is with the new updates as well. But for now, let's jump into this new LMdH with its massive nostrils and see how it drives. Alright, here we go then. First impressions of the BMW M Hybrid V8. Bit of a mouthful there, isn't it? Oh, she snaps at the top end of that first gear there. Now, I never drove the LMP1, so I can't compare this car to that car, but I've spent a fair amount of time in the LMP2 and did some laps in the P2 this morning for comparative purposes. Okay, you can't gear mash this like you can in the LMP2. Probably could have gone in there hotter. I feel like I want to drive it like the P2, but I feel like it's going to have so much more. I was going to say so much more downforce and grip, but I guess that's more of a mechanical corner than aero corner. I think I'm just over slowing at the moment. It doesn't rev as high as I thought it was going to do, or like as much as the P2 does. It's like sounds like, at least. It doesn't look like a big screaming, howling engine. I think first gear is going to be completely redundant in this car then. Even through the tighter stuff here. Oh, still a bit of a lift through that corner. Maybe once the tyres heat up, that might be flat. Can definitely be later on the brakes there than in the P2. Like, I could have braked a lot later just then than what I did do. I think the aero is really going to pin it to the road in the braking zones. Let's have a look at these MG UK settings as well and see what they do. Not much grip through that corner. That's a surprise. Very much feel a bit like it's trying to kill me right now. Not really got the hang of it. I know in the week leading up to this, or like in the days leading up to this release at the expo, there was talk about how easy it would lock up this car. Not really felt that so far. A couple of little lockups now, and like trying to be a bit more aggressive with it, trying to find its limits. There was one though. Just feels like a slightly more planted but less forgiving P2 at the moment. Not clocked until now the fact that we're in 7 gears in this car. Can definitely brake later in this than in the P2. That was a very sudden snap just then through the bus stop. So I did some laps earlier in the LMP2 pre-update, so we can see how much the P2 has been BOP'd as well, which has happened in real life to balance these cars out. The governing bodies didn't necessarily just want to make a new hypercar class that was just insanely fast. More that they've brought the LMP2 down and made the LMdH or the LMHs sort of just like super LMP2s really. That already happened at Le Mans 2022. Oh, still a little bit of a lift through there. That's a lot faster than the P2. We're going to break a 29, we are.
We've got good fuel data.
I feel like this is going to be one of those kind of cars where it's fairly easy to be decently fast quite quickly, but to actually extract those last few tenths out of it and understand how the hybrid works properly is going to be one of the biggest challenges with it. Oh, knowing how it's going to behave in the corners. Felt like it was going to stick that time through the carousel, but alas it did not. Made a mess of that, didn't I? Jeez, she twitchy when she starts going. I don't know if that's to do with the ground effect that this car's using. It's not like super ground effecty, but I think a lot of the new hypercars are using ground effect for their downforce as well as on chassis wings and stuff. Oh, and then she's gone finally. Yeah, that definitely started to lose a lot of its grip once it started bouncing. Imagine like the seal of the ground effect. As that seal gets broken, you go from all of your downforce to zero effectively as that seal gets taken away. Probably just about peaked at that, to be honest. 128.6, optimal at a 28.3. Although I guess there's still fuel to come out of the car here. This is a lot less thirsty than the P2. Put the same 25 litres into this as what I was driving the P2 earlier, and that got me about 6 laps in the LMP2. We've already done a few in this, and there's still 7 laps left in the tank. But I believe, just from what I just saw in the setup option before I jumped into the car, this tops out as a 55 litre tank. Whereas the LMP2 is a 75 litres, so not as thirsty, but also the tank is smaller. Yeah, you can't mash that curb like you used to be able to. That is for sure. It just feels like it starts scrubbing out wide there. So I definitely think this drives different to the P2, that's for sure. I think it doesn't behave in the same way. Be interested to have a look after this at the specs of the two cars. Not on a particularly good brake bias right now though, a bit front heavy, which might be overcooking the rears and making us have some balance problems. Let's try bringing it down. starts pushing out wide in the mid-corner there, it's weird. Unexpectedly, really. He says having done the same thing lap after lap so far. Might be much faster in the first sector this lap. Oh, it wasn't much faster actually, only 0.1. I thought at the time it was like 0.1 as opposed to 0.01. Are we flat? Yes. More downforce than, well, comparing setups at least, so iRacing medium downforce setup, this is the same medium downforce as I ran on the LMP2 earlier, and what I'm about to run on the LMP2 yet again. The LMP2 was not flat through that corner, and this is, so setup wise at least if the setups are consistent, this has definitely got more downforce than the P2. Yeah, I'm not really getting any more time out of it now. I think maybe change the hybrid mode. The carousel, it just feels like a pig. It just doesn't feel like it turns at all. It's weird because it's really snappy on the initial sort of the initial turning for that corner, but then the mid corner it just starts pushing wide. I should have expected to be the opposite, like as you start to get through the corner, start to apply the throttle again, and you'd have thought get a bit more aero downforce. Aero downforce, but downforce from the ground effect. I'd have thought you'd grip up and you'd be able to carry that speed a bit more, but it doesn't seem to be the case right now. Oh jeez. I think we were on for a better lap, I think, until that last corner. Let's go for an attack on the battery, see if that makes any difference. Won't need to do that. Balance has definitely made a difference on the lap time. I think I just said balance then, I meant attack. I know what I mean. English is hard. Are we still flat in attack mode then, that's the question. Yes. Got squirrely on the curve there though. Alright, yeah, this will be the fastest lap then, we'll call it after this lap. So 28.265. Yeah, I think all in all I'd say this is pretty fun. It's definitely a bit spicier than the LMP2 was. It wants to kill you unexpectedly in more ways than the LMP2 did. Can't speak for the refreshed LMP2 yet until later in this video when we drive it again. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I'll be interested to see what the pace difference is between this and the LMP2 and how many multi-class shenanigans that's going to create if, you know, like, there'll be more problems the closer they are matched in pace. I think at Le Mans there was only about 3 seconds difference between them or something silly. It wasn't a big speed difference even around a long track like Le Mans, so yeah, let's see how the LMP2 stacks up then. onto the updated LMP2. Again at Watkins, medium downforce. 25 litres in the tank. See, that's only estimated to get us about 6 laps, 6.5 laps in the tank. See if that changes as well with the update now, if the fuel usage of the car has changed. Seems a lot pointier this than the BMW. It's a lot more happy to actually rotate into a corner. That might of course just be about the balance of the setup that we're on in the Beamer. It might be because of the Beamer's absolutely humongous nose. Time will tell, I guess. That felt a little more like it was going to be flat in the LMP2 now. Almost did a bit of a safe stuff through habit in this car, but yeah, I feel like it might have been able to stay flat now. So what is rumoured to have happened to this car is that it's basically lost some of its horsepower. Some of its ponies have been taken away. So I'll have a look in a second about top speeds at the end of this straight and the pit straight, and see how that stacks up, and of course lap times. It seems a lot less compliant to actually grip nowadays, and it is in fact now flat around that corner on just the second lap on new tyres. Alright, lost a little bit of time early in the lap, but still faster that lap, so still getting faster and faster. Now, as the tyres warm up and fuel burn, so I'll keep going for now. Tyres is one of the things that's also meant to change in this car. And the tyres are meant to die quite easily if you don't look after them early on. So I'll have a look what the wear usage is like after these 6 or 7 laps that we're going to do here. Alright, about to cross the line. We've actually gone slower this lap, so I think we're just about peaked. We're not too far off our optimal for a few scruffy laps thrown together. Just coming on to the last lap of fuel, but I'm not convinced we're going to improve, to be honest. So I'll have a quick look at the tyres, and then sort of summarise some final thoughts. We're currently sitting about 2.3 seconds slower than the pre-update LMP2 time. So we've lost about 2.3 seconds on this very specific combo right now, i.e. setup, car and track combo, which I thought was the best way to compare what's actually happened pre and post update. So here are the comparisons of the fastest lap times, and I'm sure there's probably way more pace to be extracted out of this BMW once you got to grips with the hybrid and the better setups and stuff like that, but for now, comparing equal setups, the BMW did a 128.265, the LMP2 before the update did a 130.929, and now is doing a 132.247, so quite a big nerf for the LMP2. The top speeds across those three, the BMW is doing 307 kilometers an hour at the end of the straight just before the bus stop. The LMP2 was doing 295, but is now only doing 283, so again quite a big nerf, losing 12 kilometers an hour down the straights. And tyre wear is up massively on the LMP2 as well, so before at this track doing the 25 litre fuel run, it was 93% as the worst tyre. Now it's down to 82%, so using 11% more on the tyre in about 7 laps. So there you have it, there's my first few thoughts and impressions about the new BMW and the now updated LMP2 and how they compare. Definitely looking forward to learning this car more and racing it and seeing how we get on. I think we're looking at doing racing this car for the Daytona 24 this year, so yeah, definitely some pace to be extracted out of it still. You know, that was just a first few handful of laps, so looking forward to knuckling down and seeing how it behaves. I think at this point I still prefer the LMP2, it's just a little bit more on the nose, it just sort of, you know, just seems to go where you want it to a little bit more, but I'm sure that's more setup issue and stuff like that, as opposed to the actual car itself. So yeah, looking forward to actually knuckling down and getting to grips with it. If you enjoyed it, give the video a thumbs up, it really helps the channel out. And if you've got any questions that have arisen from this video, I'm sure there's thousands of things that I've not answered or not touched or anything like that, then feel free to drop a comment, and if I can't answer it in text, then I can always post a updated video later on in the week. If you want to see more from a very average person missing many apexes and rambling a lot, then feel free to subscribe to the channel, and you can hit the bell and do all that good YouTube stuff and get notified when I post a video. But that's going to be everything for this one, so take it easy and look after yourself. I'll catch you in the next one.